Hey folks, welcome to Her Collects Comics. Just back from the New York Comic Con that took place in October. And first and foremost, I thank you guys for tuning in. As I've stated in some of my other videos, I'm relatively new to the YouTube community. I just recently got a webcam, which will hopefully be up and running for some of the future videos. But still kind of just functioning off my iPhone 6S, so hopefully you guys still enjoy the content of the video despite it not being technically superior. So this is the basically, the freebie that they give you at the New York Comic Con. Features the upcoming Dark Knight 3 series with Frank Miller, his long return back to the Dark Knight. And it was a really great Comic-Con. I was there for Friday and Sunday. I went with my brother-in-law from Jersey. We took the New York ferry down in the Weehawken area across to Manhattan. Basically drops you off just roughly 2 blocks from the Jacob Javits Center. And I had a really good time. I submitted a lot of books to CGC, which I'll do a video about that down the line. Some of those books were showcased in one of my first videos. And also picked up a sketch from the great sketch cover artist Scott Blair, based out of Tampa, Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Florida for sure, but I believe it is the Tampa area. And so I'll show that when it comes back from CGC as well. So just going to show off some of the things that I picked up. I got some reader copies of books that I have wanted for some time. This here is the first Marvel team-up starring Spider-Man and the X-Men. And I had this book. I read it once, and then I ended up getting it graded. CGC, it was a good copy. Came back 9.6. 1976. It's a Marvel Team Up Annual #1. And so I ended up not having a reader copy as a result of getting this graded. So I got another copy for $5 at the convention. Also have Fantastic Four #83. Some old school Fantastic Four. I didn't really grow up in the Silver Age. Obviously, I was born in 1981. And so some of these older comics and the lore that is behind them, I know because of the reputations that people like Stan Lee as a writer and Jack Kirby as an artist have. And I've done reading on Jack Kirby. I'm a big fan of Stan Lee. And so I've always wanted to get some of the older Silver Age stuff that they did. This is Fantastic Four #83. I got this for $5. Again, it's just a reader copy. I don't plan on getting this graded. I haven't read it yet. But I bought this and then this as well, Fantastic Four #84. I've always wanted this because I'm like a Lord of the Rings Hobbit guy. I like old, castles and, fantasy, Middle Earth type stuff. And this was always a cover that was attractive to me. So I wanted to read the book as well. And so I picked this up just again as a reader's copy. One of the things I had a chance to do was also meet some people who are at the conventions, doing talks, having panels. And one of those folks that I had a chance to meet was Daryl McDaniels from Run DMC, who started a comic book company approximately 2 years ago or so. And he did a panel, and it was really interesting to kind of know a little bit more about him beyond the rap, beyond the hip-hop. He's a comic book geek, truth be told. And he has a very captivating story. He was adopted, ended up growing up in Hollis, Queens, and one of his escapes and the things that he did was come home from school, Catholic school, and immediately he would read comic books. And then eventually he met Run, and that story, of course. But I had a chance to meet him, take my picture with him. He autographed this oversized comic book of the first volume that they did, To Andoni from DMC, and it says It's Tricky, which is one of their old songs. So that was a real pleasure to meet him, and very thankful to I haven't read this yet either. Still been a little bit busy since I got back from the convention, but I will. And it looks like it's really good stuff. They are really trying to be a productive and producing comic book company, and it looks like they're off to a great start. I wish them all the best, and I encourage all of you to check out Daryl Makes Comics and see if you can pick up some of these. It's great. Marvel, DC, we love them, but there's reading beyond that as well. Another thing I picked up was apparently Madballs is making a comeback. Now, If you grew up in the 80s, you know what Mad Balls are. I've always wanted to show off some of my old school vintage 80 toys. I don't have a lot, but I have a few pieces. And one of the things that I loved in the 80s was Mad Balls. This was the first series that they did from 1985. And this is Slobulus. And he was the front runner of the Mad Balls toys that Am Toy launched back in the early 80s. You know it's 1985 because one of the characters was labeled Crackhead. And obviously, Crackhead has a bad connotation to it. So, in the series that came out in 1986, Crackhead got a name change, and his name was Bash Brain. So, you see that right here. So, these are some old school Mad Balls from 1985, 1986 in their original packaging. I love these things. The Slobulus is in great condition. The card's not exactly mint per se, but it's one of my prized possessions because like it has a nostalgic feeling for me. I had these when I was a kid. And it's cool that they're now making a comeback in the comic book. So this was a convention special that they did. The name of the comic book company that's behind this, and truth be told, I hadn't heard of them before this, Roar Comics. You can see the R here in the corner. And so again, this has some pretty funky artwork. It seems like they remain pretty true to the old school Mad Ball balls that came out in the 80s. And you know, this was a nice pickup. I was happy to get my hands on this. They have some other cool stuff that they're behind as well. Really funky looking Miami Vice series. And so check these guys out as well, Roar Comics. I look forward to you know, reading this as well. And just some other small things that I picked up just happened to be there, and a lot of comics all over the place. I picked up the variant of the Doctor Strange that just launched this October. This is a variant cover homage to the old hip-hop album by Dr. Dre, The Chronic, from the early 90s, if I'm not mistaken. And Marvel's doing a lot of variant covers with characters that are mimicking old album covers from the hip-hop industry back in the day. So I only picked up one of these. There's a whole bunch out. I didn't get a chance. I actually started reading this Doctor Strange #1 in the normal cover that came out, but I didn't get a chance to finish it. And for the first few pages that I read, I'm not, you know, very ecstatic about it. But granted, I didn't finish it all the way. But love this old school homage to Dr. Dre. I've been chasing these variant covers for Star Wars, the old school variant covers, the homage that they're doing, and so I happened to see these. I didn't have them in my collection: Star Wars 9 and 10, Star Destroyer Commander, and Jawa, and I have some also other ones coming in off of eBay: Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi. But I've pretty much picked up all these: the Land of the Darth Vader, the Princess Leia, and the only other one that still eludes me is the Boba Fett. They're going for about $50 easy, just raw. And if you want a CG seed version, it's going to be slightly more. But I'll get my hands on it eventually. I think there were only 5,000 of the Boba Fett ones that were done. So that's pretty much some of the stuff that I picked up at the New York Comic Con. Thanks for tuning into my videos. Hopefully, again, you'll subscribe, you'll like, you'll share, and I look forward to watching your videos as well. Thanks for tuning in. This is Hurt Collects Comics. Thanks.